The nation faces a growing concern about the ability of many high schools, particularly those in large cities serving low-income communities, to adequately prepare students for either college or work. At the same time, there has been a widening gap between the earnings of young workers, particularly young men, who have only a high school diploma, and those who have some post-secondary education. Is there any proven approach that can address these challenges? Hello, my name is Jim Kemple, and I'm a senior fellow at MDRC. Over the next few minutes, I want to summarize for you some exciting findings about career academies, a high school reform approach that attempts to address these problems directly. The findings are particularly exciting for three main reasons. First, they show large, positive impacts on the earnings of young men who are enrolled in the academies. This is a population where few programs of any sort have proved to be successful. Second, contrary to the concerns of some skeptics, the career academies achieve these results without reducing high school graduation rates or post-secondary school attendance and completion rates. And third, these findings are especially reliable. This study is one of the relatively few in education research to use a random assignment research design, the most rigorous approach to evaluating whether a program works or not. Now, let me explain what career academies are and then give you details about the findings. Introduced nearly 35 years ago and now numbering about 2,500 across the country, career academies have become one of the nation's most widely adopted high school reform initiatives. Career academies have three core components that together aim to keep students engaged in school and prepare them for healthy transitions to college and the workforce. First, career academies are organized as small learning communities where 100 to 150 students stay together as a group for most of their classes and are taught by the same core group of teachers through most or all of their high school years. Second, career academies require students to complete a core academic curriculum and a sequence of applied courses focused on the program's career theme. The theme, often drawn from major local employers, include business and finance, computers and electronics, travel and tourism, and healthcare. Finally, to create a closer connection between school, work, and the business community, the academies establish partnerships with local employers who reinforce the academy's career theme. Employers offer students career awareness and development activities, provide work-based learning experiences, serve as mentors, and sometimes offer summer or part-time jobs. As popular as these programs have become, there are many questions about career academies and very little rigorous evidence to answer them. Do career academies prepare and encourage students to continue their education after high school? Does preparation for the transition from school to work come at the expense of college readiness and enrollment? Do career-related interventions in high school really pay off in the labor market? To answer these and other questions, MDRC recruited 9 high schools from various parts of the country where career academies had been established to be part of a study that began in the early 1990s. Across these schools, about 900 academy students and 800 non-academy students were part of the evaluation. We followed these students through high school and for 4 years after they were scheduled to graduate. Let me now turn to the 2 major findings from the post-high school follow-up. First, career academies had a large and sustained positive impact on the earnings of the young men who had access to the academy programs. As the graph shows, the earnings for young men were increased by an average of $212 per month compared to the control group. This totaled to more than $10,000 in additional earnings over the 4 years following their scheduled graduation from high school. This is an 18% increase compared to the earnings for the control group. To put that earnings advantage into perspective, other research tells us that young people who complete 1 or 2 years of post-secondary education earn about $150 per month more than those who complete only a high school diploma. In other words, the Career Academy impact on earnings for young men was larger than the earnings premium associated with 1 or 2 years of post-secondary education. Now, the graph also shows, however, that the career academies did not produce a significant impact, positive or negative, on the earnings for young women. It appears that an important reason for this finding is that young women in both the Academy and the non-Academy study groups were more likely than young men to be heavily committed to other activities outside the workforce. About 40% of the young women in both groups had children, and the remaining 60% spent most of the follow-up period enrolled in post-secondary education programs. The second key finding is that the strong Career Academy impact on earnings did not come at the expense of enabling the young people to go to college if they wanted to. While Career Academies did not improve education outcomes, they also did not increase dropout rates or reduce enrollment and completion rates for post-secondary schooling as some might have predicted. This was true for both young men and young women. As you can see from the chart, over 90% of students in both the Academy group and the non-Academy group graduated from high school or received a GED certificate. Further, a high percentage of both groups had either completed a post-secondary education program or were still enrolled in one at the end of the follow-up period. The findings I just summarized have at least two important implications. First, they provide convincing evidence that increased investments in career-related experiences during high school can have a substantial payoff in the labor market after high school, at least for young men. Second, they demonstrate that school-to-career and career technical education programs need not compromise educational goals. Many additional findings, including the positive impacts of career academies on students who were most at risk of dropping out of high school, can be found in our full report, which is posted in the education section of MDRC's website. I invite you to review it at your leisure. Thank you very much.